Hello everyone, welcome to MedVision. So today's topic is scapulohumeral rhythm. Motion of the scapula is synchronously with the motions of the humerus, allows for 150 degree to 180 degree of the shoulder range of motions into flexion or abduction with elevation. The ratio has a considerable variations among the individuals, but commonly accepted to be 2:1. 2 degree of glenohumeral motions to 1 degree of scapular rotation. Overall motion during the sitting phase, 0 to 30 degree abduction, 0 to 60 degree flexion. Motion is primarily at glenohumeral joint, where the scapula seeks a stable position. But during the mid-range of a humeral motions, the scapula has a greater motions approaching a 1:1 with the humeral. Later in the range, the glenohumeral joint again dominates the motion. You can see in the image the 0 degree to 180 degree of the scapulohumeral rhythm. At the 180 degree of the motion, and the glenohumeral act as the 120 degree, that is a two parts, and the scapula only having a 60 degree of the motion, that is a part 1. So the ratio 2:1, two parts for humerus and one for scapula. In early study analyze only the upward rotation of the scapula, but more recent three-dimensional research demonstrate the component of scapular motion is to be upward rotation, posterior tilting, and the scapular external rotation with the full shoulder elevation that initiate the movements of flexion, scapular plane abduction, and the frontal plane abduction of the humerus. So this diagram show the analysis. The early analysis only the upward rotation of the scapula. But in a recent there is a three-dimensional motions of the scapula occurs. During the humeral elevation, the synchronous motions of the scapula allow the muscles moving the humerus to maintain an effective length tension relationship throughout the activity and maintain the coagulation between the humeral head and the fossa while decreasing the shearing forces. So these are the diagrams of the effectively muscles to maintain the length tension relationship between the activity and the motions. We all know that the upper and the lower trapezius and the serratus anterior muscle cause the upward rotation of the scapula. Due to weakness or a complete paralysis of these muscles, resulting the scapula being rotated downwards and contracting deltoids and supraspinatus as abduction or flexion is attempted. These muscles then reach active insufficiency and the passive elimination of the arm can't be reached. Even through there may be a normal passive range of motion and a normal strength in shoulder abductors and the flexor muscles. So this is very important. During the elevation of the humerus, the pect minor muscles lengthen as the scapula upward rotates, retracts, and the tips posteriorly. Restricted scapular movements during the humeral elevation from the shortened pectoralis minor results in pattern similar to those seen in the patients with impingement symptoms and could be risk factor for development of a syndrome. So pect minor is very important muscles to evaluate posture and the position of the scapula.